Hey guys, welcome back. Grim Reaper's coming at you for another video of Raid Shadows. Hopefully doing well and hopefully looking after yourselves and stuff like that. So, and hopefully you're having a great week, right? We've got the Serpent Path going on. I should have another video dropping today on Serpent Path and the Titan event. So go check that out. We will be some shard pulls as well. And no spoiler, but it's looking pretty juicy for me. Once again, a very good champion joining my team and stuff like that. Not account changing, but a very, very decent champion overall. Anyway, today we're on Doc's account. Doc has just returned to Raidshadowlegends. I've been on Doc's account a few times in the past, and this is one of his old accounts. So Doc came to me. He had a bit of problems with his clan boss, and obviously we're in the middle of doing a clan boss series, which I haven't done a upload since the week's well, and that's my apologies. I've been quite busy with other content, but we will be uploading different teams, rating them, etc., and stuff like that. So today we have built a Demiffer comp, which is not the Demiffer comp that you guys are probably aware of, but this is the Demiffer comp that is a 3-to-1 comp with Fushan. Now, Fushan, what does a Fushan bring to the table? Well, Fushan will bring you a really juicy speed aura. So uh, he will bring you the increased speed of 24 in all battles, which is one of the high ends on all battles, especially for legendaries and epics, which is fairly juicy. It brings the defense down as well, which is fairly good as well. And it's got fairly decent multipliers, right? And it's good affinity as well for Harry's, so that really helps it out with the stuns and stuff like that. And it's control of stun targets and stuff. So overall, we're going to go and do a run. First of all, this team was not easy to run. I will drop timestamps down below, by the way. This team was not easy to run. So let's give the ratings before we move into the rest of the video. For a rating of accessibility for the 5 champions, I think for accessibility for the champions, I would give it a 9 out of 10. I think with only needing a couple of old school legendaries like Turvolt, who was a guaranteed. We've got Fushan as well, who's been around a long time. And bear in mind, Fushan can be replaced, but it's very difficult because you'll have to replace the speed aura, and the speeds are very, very tight. So you'd have to use a calculator to go in and out of the calculator. And Turvolt can definitely be replaced. And then like you got a void epic and stuff like that. So accessibility, I would give it a 9 out of 10. For building a comp though, I would give this a 2 out of 10. I found it was very difficult to speed tune it. Obviously, I've been playing Raid myself for 5 years. I have quite experience with speed tuning and stuff like that. So this is like a natural thing for me to kind of see. And it can still even be very difficult for someone who is very experienced in this type of thing. So we didn't have any speed lifts as well, so this is really important why you should have speed lifts. We didn't have no one-sided speed lift, so that made my life even harder, right? Somehow he has Siggy already, which is GG because it's one of the best mythicals. I only had 3 4-stars, and it was very difficult to speed tune. He also, another mistake he made as well is he had Cycle of Violence on Seeker. Now, Seeker can actually do quite a bit of raw damage on his abilities, so this would proc on Seeker. This doesn't always proc on certain champions, but it can proc, so it's definitely something you shouldn't have on your teams, stuff like that. But we'll go into a bit more into masteries when I show you the builds and stuff. So if you're looking to know a bit more about masteries and how speed tuning works, stick around. This is the basic of, I would say, 1 of 3 steps of speed tuning and understanding speed tuning when it comes to clan boss. Now, there is reasons why it's very difficult for speed tuning, which I'll get into again a bit later on in today's video. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a run of the team, and then I'm going to show you the presets and stuff like that of the team as well, so you can get everything correctly. Because Demiffer was the one thing that I struggled with, was actually a preset, so it wasn't so clear on the website, on Jedward's website. I will drop the link of the team down below, and we'll have a little look of it as well. and I do the breakdown on that. So you'll see why I do the ratings of 2 out of 10 for the speed tune. Anyway, let's go into it, into the team. Enjoy the music. We'll be all right. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the speed tune for it. Expert level, so I would definitely agree it's a very difficult comp to build. This is also Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, and Brutal. I was under the impression this was Ultra Nightmare only, but I can confirm it does work on Nightmare. I have proof of the keys that we ran in stream on Twitch. Where's Nightmare one, and then this is the one on Magic. So Force Affinity was a bit of a problem for today. We will look at this off stream, and after the video I'll probably look at some glyphins and stuff like that, because I've told him not to do this, right? Obviously he paid me for the clan boss takeover. Clan boss takeover cost him £30. I do have a £10 fee as well for anyone who break the comps and I need to go back and refix. In a day, I do sometimes get people, sometimes very rarely, that break the speed tune a few times, and like 3 or 4 times, and I have to go back onto their accounts and fix it. That's why I have the £10 fee, because if I'm going to spend, and sometimes there was a couple of weeks ago someone broke Demitha. It cost me like 4 hours of my time, which again I could be doing another takeover from channel points or something. You can also get clan boss fairly cheap on channel points, and if you're not sure what channel points are, that is my like channel redemption, that you watch the Twitch streams, you take part in streams. I always recommend watching the streams, because you see a lot of the stuff behind the videos and stuff like that, and behind the screens a lot generally in these stuff. So I drop my Twitch link down below. You can get a clan boss takeover for free on channel points. I think it'll take you like a week to watch to get the channel takeover, and then you just need to wait for when I'm ready to basically do it. And as you can see here, the Demitha here, speeds are very tight and stuff like that. Now it doesn't look too tight here until you start reading the notes, and then the notes here it's mainly for spirit, because spirit gives you the decreased speed. You want it to work on all affinities as well. You don't want to just build it up for like magic, void, and stuff, and not worry about spirit. It's gonna bite you on the bum. It's not gonna be a good experience. So for this team, you do want to get close as possible to the speed tuning of 282.9, and Seeker as well, the true speed of this. Now, this is very difficult to work out even for someone like me, but what I generally do is I can work the speeds out, but for me, for the cheap, for the cheat that I do, I will get 2 calculators up. I'll get the one that he Jedward's done and inputted into the calculator, and then the one that I would do for my own team, and the one that I've done and built for, right? And then I would sit here and play the true speeds, make sure you're correct with the law of steel and the speed sets, and then you could kind of see where the true speeds are, and then you might be able to control it with like 1-star speed lifts. That's why 1-star speed lifts are so key, especially for clan boss for speed tuning. So yeah, very difficult clan boss team to speed tune generally for this. And all fairness, like I do have a fair amount of knowledge in demiffer comps, and they're not my favorite in killables to build. I do generally prefer man-eaters because man-eaters are just way more simple of building. Anyway, I'll drop this down in the link so you guys can go check it out if you want to build it. But again, if you're not a clan boss expert or anything like that in speed tuning, I would recommend to reach out to someone that actually knows what they're doing. This will save you time, stress, and most importantly, silver and gems when it comes to masteries. So that's something I would recommend to do and stuff like that. But we're going to go back into the video. You can see here we're actually just short from on 1 key, so we just need to pop some glyphs on, increase the attack on a couple of people. It's also a bit RNG. It's got 2 toxic sets, which I'll go ahead and show you. We did lose someone's not crit capped just yet because we lost it from me swapping the gear around, and I couldn't get it crit capped. So it was one of their ones that was just going for an easy fix. And also because I didn't have the glyphs, it was much harder to be tuned, so I had to be very precise with the gear what we took. So let's see if we could show you the presets. Let's go into the one of the dungeons, because I would have to get a key and show the presets there and stuff like that. Let me have a look where the Clambos team is. The Clambos team's here. Obviously you can see the presets on the calculator as well, but again, it's not so clear to everyone. Not everyone knows how to use the calculator, so it's just easier for me to show you the in-game stuff, which is way more simple for you guys to see, right? So you can see here you got the opening on Fushan. You got to switch off to A2. You just want to focus with these 2 abilities. With Seeker, you want to open the A1, and then you leave him to do his thing. Now, if you're going to use Turvolt, Turvolt needs to be switched off on this ability, because this will give you increased speed and extra turn, which are 2 things that will throw off your comp pretty quickly. And then we're going to go into like the A1 for the weaken, and then his A3. And then Demiffer is just going to open with the A2, sorry, the A1 on a A3, and then have the 2 on the A2. And then Demiffer, you will need to set this up on the priority of A1, sorry, on the 1, because what Demiffer will do when there isn't like a debuff on her team is she won't actually do her A2 if you don't have the A1. And this could throw off your comp, especially on probably on Void, right? Where you're not getting a debuff on you. So this is something that you need to do, which will be quite key to your team. So make sure you know you're checking it out and doing that. Now you can see the speeds and stuff like that. I'm going to take a quick screenshot so I don't forget who to show you the builds and masteries of. We'll go over some key masteries where you don't want to take them, right? So let's start off with the legendaries, right? So Fushan, Fushan is here. As you can see, he's in pretty much broken sets overall, and the most important bit is the speed of 186. The speed is very, very tight, and everyone don't look at the website and think 188, 189 is correct and working quite fairly well. It actually thrown us off, and his Fushan originally was like 190 or something, which was still correct from a website point of view, but when it was coming to the true speed and on spirit, it wasn't going to work because it was out of sync, which is what I picked up on first. I had a lot of help as well from my chat. They generally do. I like the second big brain, right? I'm really grateful for my community on Twitch because they really do help me, especially when it comes to Clavos teams I'm not so experienced with. And when you're a bit hot-headed like myself, it could be a bit of a interesting experience. Sometimes you get a bit frustrated. Anyway, we're focusing on the attack with Fushan. Want to make sure he's crit capped and he wants more critical damage. So this Fushan build could be much, much better. It actually doesn't have enough accuracy as well, so he does need some more accuracy for the defense down. I didn't look at this when I was doing the builds. That might be one of the reasons why it's getting it's dropping off a little bit. This might be something we can fix in the future. I think it was down to speed tuning. I think it's because we didn't have the banner to do the speed tuning, right? So this one speed actually throwing us off. But we do generally need to change that in the future. I might run this again with this banner to see and how it works, but you generally just need more accuracy. And this will probably be given on one key. I will watch the recording after this. So that's one thing to take into consideration. Now for masteries, you're perfectly fine actually take a cycle of violence for like Fushan. It's generally the champions that you need to have the increased speed, the block damage or inkillables where you can't take specific masteries. But there is also other masteries that you shouldn't take on anyone at all within your comp. So for example, it's not this one, sorry, it is this one. Arctic Accelerate. This has a 30% chance of increasing your turn meter by 10% when a debuff is cast by a champion is removed. So a debuff, sorry, this one, right, has a 30% chance of increasing your turn meter cast by his champion. Buff. So he puts 3 buffs on himself. Then you, if you do use the extra turn or anything like that in other comps, this can really throw you off. 10% speed and has a 30% chance to proc. So he's got 3 chances on his debuffs to proc this 3 times, which can really throw off your comp, especially if you have this throughout your whole team. Now, this team is super tight for speed tuning. It's like really, really tight for speed tuning. So this is one thing that you would need to focus on. Now, Cycle of Magic is like Cycle of Violence, so having this on Demitha, Seeker, or Harry's, who is the main 3 to make this speed tune work, and who is unreplaceable, would be a devastated thing. But again, on Fushan, Cycle of Magic is pretty much fine. And to be honest, Cycle of Violence doesn't do anything because the clan boss doesn't crit, right? So it doesn't have critical hits, so you're very fine with that. But again, on like someone like Sand Devil, for example, that would be a problem where he has a small chance to crit you. I think he has 15 critical rate or something like that, so it's like 1 in 10 turns or something. That can throw off like Godseeker Nori, for example. With that, I've seen it to throw off some Godseeker comps and stuff like that. And then that's about it for the masteries that you should watch. Law Steel is something you want to be careful of on how tight this true speed is as well. So on speed tunes like this, I always try and avoid cycle. So I love Law Steel. So let me show you Turvolt then. So Turvolt is a little bit better. The gear on this account is not super crazy as well. So like the builds are not super crazy at all. This was built to be okay with Cycle of Violence with A3, but it's perfectly fine as well. I suppose you do want that A1 to be quite consistent for the small chance of landing the weekend. So the weekend is only like a well, it's actually quite high. It's like a 75% chance of putting a weekend up on that A1, which is pretty useful. And stuff like that. Now, if he rolls this, he lands speed, breaks the speed tune. Generally not a good idea. So he wouldn't be rolling this up anytime soon because his team is very difficult. And to be honest, like I don't really want to come back and fix this. Now, we had Turvo on 196, so 169, but the speed tuning wasn't working with him, so we had to drop it to 168. And you'll notice on the website, I'll say 168 169. And that's how tight that the true speed is between him and Seeker, which can generally throw you off the compass wall. And actually on the calculator as well, it looked very, very similar to each other. So generally broken sets. Let me show you Fushan again. I know a few people would like to see the gear right on the champions and stuff like that when it comes to these sets, but this team I would recommend not actually pushing for. He can roll this maybe for extra critical damage. This piece is fine to roll because his speed is already maxed out, so he hasn't got to worry about proccing speed there or there, to be honest, which is probably something we'll look at later on his team to try and find a little bit more extra damage to get him over the line for this. Now we got Seeker. He's weak affinity for force. You can see here there was absolutely, so Seeker was one of the builds I didn't actually touch. I didn't need to touch Seeker on his account. Seeker was perfectly speed tuned already, so that's why he's in 5-piece toxic, because the owner built him in 5-piece toxic. bear in mind, Toxic's only a 4-piece set. I didn't actually touch them. I just come in and adjust everything. So this is not my build. This is 151 Kruger rate. It's crazy, but you know, it is what it is. At least he used attack chest. That's good to see, right? He's used attack chest, attack ring, so he's understood where the attack's coming from. The only thing that I did change on this Seeker was his masteries, because again, it did have Cycle of Violence, and Seeker can do some good raw damage. So I'm pretty confident that this would proc the Cycle of Violence. Now these are probably not the best masteries because it's block damage comps. For block damage comps, you don't lose any HP, so like Heart of Glory is better. But let's say you do like Maneater where you do lose HP, then this one is actually better for Maneater. This will increase your damage when attacking with 50% or less HP. And so for like Bat Eater is better than Heart of Glory, because I know my Bat Eater's never full health, but it's always unkillable, right? So it doesn't really matter as much. And then we have Ares on top of that, right? We have Antimitha as well to show you. So let's show you Dimitha. I always get her spelling slightly wrong. There goes my dyslexia for you. So here we are again, War Master on everyone, which is very, very important. Again, the only thing you really want to try and avoid on her is Cycle of Violence. Magic, I don't think should proc Cycle of Violence because she doesn't hit that hard, but I don't really also want to test it as well. Rapid response as well is something as well that I wouldn't want either. So my voice is going, and then the last one would be Harry's, right? Harry's is something you would want to look at. Let me can't spell her. There we are. We got her now. So again, actually Retribution and stuff doesn't actually do anything for her because she counterattacks anyway from the passive. But these are the masteries. Very, very similar. Again, we got another toxic set here. It's got a few toxic sets, which is fairly good to increase its damage. It's a good use of toxic and stuff like that. I would try and get always champions crit cap, to be honest, long term. But this is not a team that I would want to be building all the time, even for myself. It's a bit of a headache and stuff like that. So this wouldn't be my first recommendation of people to build this for sure. That's why I've given it such a low score. And that's about it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hey, I don't make a lot of clan boss videos and stuff like that, so I will be looking at more teams over the next couple of weeks and give you my thoughts on these things. So again, if you are interested in clan boss help and stuff like that, my link for Discord is down below. We can have a chat, and even if you don't want to take it, I can give you some advice and coaching. Now, it is worth noting as well, on the 20th of July, we do have a coaching session going ahead on Twitch. Now, what this means is I basically come on your account and we'll look at like some focus, help you set your new goals to your account. We will be doing a champion regear of one of your champions as well. And this generally give you some advice, some feedback. Maybe it's going to be a bit of a roast as well. Me and my chat do like to have a little bit of roast. It's more fun and entertainment purposes as well. So if you're a bit sensitive, it's probably not a place to be. But anyone else, I would recommend go hit that interested button. If you don't want to sub to the channel for Twitch, which I think you use a Prime or so, you can just go ahead and save your channel points. It's like 1,000 channel points, which you can save as you wait for all the subs and stuff like that to go. So at the moment we've got 6 people. This will fill up quite quickly. But the only time we don't do anything is when live arena's active, and we do a bit of live arena on stream as well. So that's definitely something to go ahead and take any recommendations. If you have any questions, you can just go ahead and tag me in my Discord. And if I don't assist you, then a mod will assist you and help you out. You can also do !@mods as well. And hopefully that helps you for today's video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I've been Grim Reaper. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.